Hello guys, welcome back. This is Mystery Truth. Rothschild Dynasty is seeking to fulfill Kalergi depopulation agenda. I know you all know about Rothschild and their control, their dominance over the world's economy, but there are still so many things you don't know. They have so many agenda as regards depopulating the world, which is still in play. And today we are going to give you some secrets that you need to know, which is the open conspiracy. The Rothschild agenda for the population has been decades, even centuries in the making. A British writer, H.G. Wells, laid out the Rothschild-Kalergi plan in 1928 in the book The Open Conspiracy, which is the plans for world revolution. His books were commissioned by the Rothschild. They provide the step-by-step plan the Rothschild and agents have followed in their quest for world domination, most of which has come to fruition. A one world government and one unit monetary system under permanent non-elected hereditary oligarchs who self-select from among their numbers in the form of a feudal system as it was in the Middle Ages. In this one world entity, population will be limited by restrictions on the number of children per family, diseases, wars, famines, until 1 billion people who are useful to the ruling class in areas which will be strictly and clearly defined, remain as the total world population. There will be no middle class, only rulers and servants. All laws will be uniform under a legal system of world courts practicing the same unified code of laws, backed up by a one world government, police force, and a one world unified military to enforce laws in all former countries where no national boundaries shall exist. The system will be on the basis of a welfare state. Those who are obedient and subservient to the one world government will be rewarded with the means to live. Those who are rebellious will simply be starved to death or be declared outlaws. Thus, a target for anyone who wishes to kill them. Privately owned firearms or weapons of any kind will be prohibited. Only one religion will be allowed, and that will be in the form of a one world government church, which has been in existence since 1920, as we shall see. All Christian churches have been subverted, and Christianity will be a thing of the past in the one world government. To induce a state where there is no individual freedom or any concept of liberty surviving, there shall be no such thing as republicanism, sovereignty, or rights residing within the people. Each person shall be fully indoctrinated that he or she is a creature of the one world government with an identification number clearly marked on their person so as to be readily accessible, which identifying number shall be in the master file, subject to instant retrieval by an agency of the one world government at any time. Non-elite masses will be reduced to the level and behavior of controlled animals with no will of their own and easily regimented and controlled. The economic system shall be based upon the ruling oligarch ethical class, allowing just enough foods and services to be produced to keep the mass slave labor camps going. All wealth shall be aggregated in the hands of the elite members. Each individual shall be indoctrinated to understand that he or she is totally dependent upon the state for survival. There's another agenda, which is industries are to be totally destroyed. Only the elites shall have the right to any of the earth's resources. Agriculture shall be solely in the hands of the elites, with food production strictly controlled. As these measures begin to take effect, large populations in the cities shall be forcibly removed to remote areas, and those who refuse to go shall be exterminated. Euthanasia for the terminally ill and the aged shall be compulsory. No cities shall be larger than a predetermined number as described in the work of Kalergi. Essential workers will be moved to other cities if the one they are in becomes overpopulated. Other non-essential workers will be chosen at random as sent to underpopulated cities to fill quotas. At least 4 billion useless eaters shall be eliminated by the year 2050 by means of limited wars, organized epidemics of fatal rapid-acting diseases and starvation. Energy, food, and water shall be kept at subsistence levels for the non-elites, starting with the white populations of Western Europe and North America, and then spreading to other races. The population of Canada, Western Europe, and the United States will be decimated more rapidly than on other continents until the world's population reaches a manageable level of 1 billion, of which 500 million will consist of Chinese and Japanese races, selected because they are people who have been regimented for centuries and who are accustomed to obeying authority without question. From time to time, there shall be artificially contrived food and water shortages and medical care to remind the masses that their very existence depends on the goodwill of the elites. After the destruction of housing, auto, steel, and heavy goods industries, there shall be limited housing and industries of any kind allowed to remain shall be under the direction of the elites. The United States will be flooded by people of alien cultures who will eventually overwhelm white America, people with no concept of what the United States Constitution stands for, and who will, in consequence, do nothing to defend it, and in whose minds the concept of liberty and justice is so weak as to matter little. Those who break the law will be instantly executed. There shall be no cash or coinage in the hands of the non-elites. All transactions shall be carried out by means of a debit card, which shall bear the identification number of the holder. Any person who in any way infringes the rules and regulations of the elites shall have the use of his or her card suspended for varying times according to the nature and severity of the infringements. Such persons will find, when they go to make purchases, that their card is blacklisted and they will not be able to obtain services of any kind. Attempts to trade old coins, that is to say silver coins of previous and now defunct nations, shall be treated as a capital crime subject to the death penalty. All such coinage shall be required to be surrendered within a given time, along with guns, rifles, explosives, and automobiles. Only the elites and one-world government high-ranking functionaries will be allowed private transports, weapons, coinage, and automobiles. If the offense is a serious one, the card will be seized at the checking point where it is presented. Thereafter, that person shall not be able to obtain food, water, shelter, and employment, medical services, and other rights shall be outlawed from him. Large bands of outlaws will thus be created, and they will live in regions that best afford subsistence, subject to be hunted down and shot on sight. Persons assisting outlaws in any way whatsoever shall likewise be shot. Outlaws who fail to surrender to the police or military after a declared period of time, shall have a former family member selected at random to serve prison terms in their stead. Rival factions and groups such as Arabs and Jews and African tribes shall have differences magnified and allowed the wage wars of extermination against each other. The same tactics will be used in Central and South America. These wars of attrition shall take place before the takeover of the one world government and shall be engineered on every continent where large groups of people with ethnic and religious differences live. Ethnic and religious differences shall be magnified and exacerbated, and violent conflicts as a means of settling their difference shall be encouraged and fostered. All information services and print media shall be under the control of the one world government. Regular brainwashing control measures shall be passed off as entertainment in the manner in which it was practiced and became a fine art in the United States. This is the plan as envisioned by the Rothschild, should the public wish to accept it. A century later, the world is facing cryptocurrencies, V-passports, social credit stores, tracks and trace technologies, lethal pandemics, sustainable smart cities, forced vaccinations linked to societal participation, manufactured, corporate-sponsored racial wars, and social unrest. The industrialization of society, efforts to eradicate automobile, forced dependence upon the state, the destruction of supply chains, and privately owned farms, the calling of the elderly and weak, pillaging by mega corporations in a rapidly encroaching corporate fascist states, Rothschild-backed non-profit flooding white countries with refugees while fomenting hatred against whites and Christians, the erasure of American history, customs and traditions, fact-free media that is steeped in bias, propaganda, and misinformation, the rejection of God, and a virtueless society where human life is stripped of its value and morals are in short supply. All these are the things that are currently happening in the world. You can see it in different countries, the way immigrants are being flown into Europe from Afghanistan, the way people are being forced to be vaccinated, the way countries are rising against each other. For example, in Africa, the Arabs are sponsoring terrorism, sending in troops, and trading ammunition with governments, including the Nigerian governments. And all these things are happening because of the agenda, the actualization of a depopularized world. So guys, if you have anything to say concerning this, just drop your comments in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much.